You wake up, the alarm rings, and for a brief second, you hesitate. That moment, that single hesitation decides the kind of person you'll become today. You either rise immediately or you stay comfortable. And the truth is, most people choose comfort. That's why discipline is so rare. That's why disciplined people stand out, because while everyone else is sleeping through life, you're choosing to rise. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's about command. You don't wait until you feel like doing something, you act because you said you would. That's what separates you from who you used to be. 1. The myth of motivation. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Just stay motivated. But that's a lie. Motivation dies. It fades. It changes with your mood, your weather, your emotions. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. When you depend on motivation, your productivity becomes unpredictable. But when you build discipline, you no longer need motivation. You just move. You wake up because it's time to wake up. You train because that's what you do. You work because your goals demand it. It's not about wanting to, it's about doing it anyway. The greatest athletes, the most consistent creators, the top performers, they're not constantly inspired. They're consistent because they've killed the illusion that feelings matter. Feelings come and go. Discipline stays. Every time you act without feeling like it, you build another brick in the wall of your future. Every repetition done when you're tired. Every minute you stay focused when you'd rather scroll. That's discipline forging itself into your character. 2. The morning war. Every morning is a small battle between your higher self and your weaker self, and the battlefield is your bed. When that alarm goes off, there's no one watching, no one to clap for you. But that's exactly why it matters, because discipline is built in silence, when no one's paying attention. You wake up on time, not because someone's forcing you to, but because you said you would. You push yourself to move even when your body wants rest. You learn to separate what's necessary from what's comfortable. Start your day with structure. Make your bed. Drink water. Move your body. Write down your priorities. These are not rituals, they're declarations. Each small action sends a signal to your brain, we're in control now. 3. The power of structure. You can't be disciplined in chaos. You need structure, a system that removes decision fatigue and eliminates randomness. When you wake, you shouldn't be deciding what to do. You should already know. Discipline thrives in clarity. Create a routine, not because it's trendy, but because it keeps your life predictable, where it matters most. Predictability in your process creates freedom in your mind. A structured day eliminates excuses. You don't decide if you'll go to the gym, it's already written in your schedule. You don't think about working. It's simply the next block of your day. Structure gives you power. It transforms your willpower into automation. That's why disciplined people seem effortless. Their systems carry them when motivation doesn't. So build a daily framework. Wake up at the same time. Have fixed time blocks for work, learning, rest, and exercise. Remove distractions before they tempt you. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. 4. The reality of sacrifice. Discipline demands sacrifice, and that's where most people break. You can't have discipline without saying no to something else. When you say yes to waking early, you say no to late-night comfort. When you say yes to saving money, you say no to impulsive spending. When you say yes to training, you say no to laziness. You're always trading something. The question is, are you trading your future for the present, or the present for your future? Discipline means delaying gratification, doing what's right, instead of what's easy. It's not glamorous. It's not dramatic. Most of the time, it's painfully boring. But that's the truth about greatness. It's built in boredom. It's built in repetition. It's built in quiet rooms where no one claps. When you finally understand that boredom is a signal of progress, not a problem, that's when you truly evolve. 5. The enemy. Comfort. Comfort feels safe. It feels peaceful. But comfort is the slowest poison in existence. It convinces you that you're okay when you're not. It makes you mistake stillness for peace when it's actually decay. You scroll your phone because it's comfortable. You skip the workout because it's comfortable. You delay your goals because it's comfortable. And slowly, comfort drains your edge, your hunger, your will to improve. That's why discipline feels painful, because you're detoxing from comfort. Every time you choose discipline, you choose life over decay. You choose growth over stagnation. The goal isn't to hate comfort, it's to earn it. When you work hard first, comfort becomes meaningful. When you rest after effort, rest becomes powerful. But when you rest without effort, comfort turns into guilt. 6. The daily battle plan. Discipline isn't built overnight. It's built through a battle plan. Here's how you win daily. Plan your day before it begins. Write down exactly what needs to be done. No vague goals, just clear targets. Attack your hardest task first. That's called eating the frog. The longer you delay it, the heavier it feels. Track your progress. Every day, check what you actually did versus what you planned. Be honest, brutally honest. Eliminate distractions ruthlessly. Delete what drains your focus, unnecessary tabs, apps, or people. End your day with reflection. Ask yourself, did I move closer to who I want to be today? These 5 actions sound simple, but simplicity is the weapon of the disciplined. 7. Emotional control. You can't be disciplined if your emotions control you. Emotions are wild animals, powerful, but dangerous if untamed. Discipline means learning to act in spite of emotions, not to suppress them, but to rule them. You can feel tired but still train. You can feel unmotivated but still show up. You can feel anxious but still do the work. That's emotional mastery. You don't wait to feel better. You move until you do. Because action creates emotion, not the other way around. So next time you feel resistance, smile. That's the threshold of discipline forming. 8. Building self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust. Every time you break one, you destroy it. Discipline is self-respect in motion. When you say, I'll wake up early, and actually do it, your brain learns that your word matters. When you say, I'll finish this project and follow through, you build integrity. Self-trust compounds like interest. The more you honor your word, the stronger your inner foundation becomes. But every time you break a promise, you weaken it. That's why procrastination hurts, not because of time lost, but because of trust lost. Discipline is how you prove to yourself that you can rely on you. 9. The mirror test. Every night, before you sleep, there's a moment of truth. You look in the mirror, literally or mentally, and you know whether you lived with discipline today or not. There's no lying in that silence. You can fool others with excuses, but not yourself. That quiet judgment, that reflection, is sacred. It's where progress is measured not by results, but by effort. If you can look in the mirror and say, I gave my best today, that's a victory. Not perfection, just honesty. Because discipline is not about never failing. It's about never lying to yourself again. 10. Habits. The invisible discipline. Discipline becomes natural when it turns into habit. Habits automate discipline. They make hard things easy. The key is repetition. You don't need intensity every day. You need consistency. If you write 100 words a day, you'll have a book in a year. If you save a few dollars daily, you'll have financial peace in time. If you train a little every day, your body transforms quietly. Small habits compound faster than motivation ever will. Start tiny but never skip, because tinny but consistent beats massive but temporary. You've built the foundation. You've learned that discipline isn't a feeling, it's a choice. But now comes the next level, mastering it for life. Discipline is not just what you do, it's who you become. And the longer you practice it, the more it rewires your brain to crave effort instead of comfort. At this stage, you stop chasing motivation. You start chasing momentum. 11. The identity shift. Real discipline begins when you stop trying to be disciplined and start becoming the kind of person who just is. When you identify as someone who's disciplined, every decision becomes easier. It's no longer, should I go to the gym? It's, I'm the kind of person who trains. That's what I do. Identity precedes behavior. If you want to change your actions, you have to change your identity first. Start small. Stop saying, I'm lazy. Start saying, I'm learning to be disciplined. Then prove it with one small action immediately. The brain craves consistency between who you believe you are and what you do. So when your self-image shifts, your actions follow. You're no longer forcing discipline, you're living it. 12. Mental rewiring. Every act of discipline rewires your brain's reward system. At first, effort feels painful. The dopamine hits come from comfort, from your phone, your bed, your distractions. But with repetition, the balance flips. Your brain begins to associate reward with effort instead of escape. You feel more satisfaction after a hard workout than a lazy day. More peace after finishing a project than watching another meaningless video. That's neuroplasticity. Your mind adapting to your chosen identity. It's not magic. It's biology aligned with purpose. The trick is consistency. You can't rewire your brain in one weekend of discipline. It takes hundreds of repetitions of doing what's right, especially when it's hard. Every time you follow through, you're strengthening a neural pathway. Eventually, discipline becomes default. 13. The rule of non-negotiables. Discipline is fragile when everything's optional. So create non-negotiables, actions that happen no matter what. No debate. No negotiation, no excuses. You wake up at 6 a.m. non-negotiable. You train 4 times a week, non-negotiable. You plan tomorrow before you sleep, non-negotiable. Once you set them, they stop being choices. They become rules. That's how you protect yourself from emotional fluctuations. Because discipline doesn't mean being perfect, it means removing permission to fail at the fundamentals. Your non-negotiables become your anchor. They keep your life stable when chaos hits. 14. The discipline of the mind. Physical discipline is easy compared to mental discipline. It's not about lifting weights, it's about lifting thoughts. You have to discipline your focus. You have to catch your mind when it drifts into doubt, comparison, or negativity. Every time you notice yourself spiraling, say, stop, take a breath. Redirect your focus to what's in your control. You can't control everything, but you can always control effort, attitude, and response. That's the triangle of mental discipline. Train your mind like a muscle. Meditation, journaling, reading, these are not soft habits, they're mental weightlifting. You don't do them to relax, you do them to sharpen awareness. Because a disciplined mind is your strongest weapon. 15. The law of consistency. It's not intensity that makes people great, it's consistency. Anion can push hard for a week, but can you show up when it's boring, when no one claps? That's where discipline lives. Think of consistency like compound interest. Every small action multiplies over time. You don't need to crush every day. You just need to show up every day. One workout won't change your body. One book won't change your mind. but hundreds of them done consistently will transform your life beyond recognition. So, stop chasing perfect days. Chase consistent days. Because consistent mediocrity beats inconsistent greatness every single time. 16. Environment design. Discipline is not just about willpower. It's about environment. Your surroundings either support your discipline or sabotage it. You can't expect to stay focused if your phone is full of distractions. You can't stay healthy if your kitchen is filled with junk. You can't stay productive if your workspace feels chaotic. So, engineer your environment. Put your phone away during work blocks. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Keep only healthy food visible. Your environment should make the right choice the easy one, and the wrong choice the hard one. The most disciplined people don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems that make laziness inconvenient. 17. The discipline of saying no. One of the hardest skills in discipline is the ability to say no. No to distractions. No to drama. No to things that don't align with your purpose. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something essential. Guard your time like it's your most precious currency, because it is. You can always earn more money. You can never earn more time. Say no without guilt. Say no without explanation. Every no builds the muscle of self-respect. Every boundary reinforces your purpose. 18. The art of boredom. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when it's not exciting. Boredom is not the enemy. It's a signal that you're becoming consistent. Most people quit not because it's too hard, but because it's too repetitive. They crave novelty, they want constant dopamine, but mastery is repetition. Growth is monotony. You want to become the kind of person who can do the same thing daily without losing focus, without losing fire. Because the truth is, boredom kills the weak, but builds the strong. If you can handle monotony, you can handle greatness. 19. Pain as a teacher. Discipline is not supposed to feel good all the time. Sometimes it hurts physically, mentally, emotionally, but pain is not your enemy. Pain is the tuition fee for strength. It teaches you what matters. It sharpens your awareness. It humbles you. The more you resist pain, the weaker you become. But the more you embrace it, the more power you unlock. Every time you push through discomfort, you raise your threshold for life. Pain becomes feedback. It tells you where you're weak. It points to where you need to grow. The most disciplined people aren't fearless. They're simply not afraid to feel. 20. The reward system. Society teaches you to chase instant rewards. Discipline teaches you to delay them. Instant gratification gives you the illusion of progress. Delayed gratification builds real progress. It's easy to waste hours online. It feels rewarding now, but empty later. It's harder to work on your craft. It feels dull now, but fulfilling later. So train your reward system. Celebrate the process, not just the outcome. Reward yourself for showing up, not just for winning. Because the truth is, success is not a single moment. It's 1,000 disciplined days stacked together. 21. The cycle of reinvention. Discipline evolves. What worked at one stage of your life won't always work at the next. You'll need to adapt, to reinvent your systems as your goals change. Maybe you'll need to wake up earlier, maybe. You'll need to train differently. Maybe your priorities will shift. That's not failure, that's evolution. Discipline is not rigidity. It's flexibility with purpose. You bend, but you don't break. You adjust, but you never quit. When you treat discipline as a living system, not a fixed rule book, it becomes sustainable for life. 22. The discipline of rest. Rest is part of discipline. Not the lazy kind of rest, the strategic kind. Rest is what recharges your focus, creativity, and physical strength. Without it, you burn out. With it, you build longevity. The disciplined person doesn't rest out of exhaustion. They rest out of intention. They know when to stop, reflect, and recover, not because they're weak, but because they're optimizing for endurance. So don't glorify burnout. Glorify balance. Because true discipline isn't about running yourself into the ground. It's about mastering the rhythm of effort and recovery. 23. Accountability. You can't grow in isolation forever. Even disciplined people need accountability. Find someone, a friend, mentor, or community that challenges your excuses and mirrors your potential. Accountability turns discipline into a shared standard. When you know someone's watching, your best self shows up more often. But don't rely on external validation. Use accountability as a mirror, not a crutch. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your own actions. But having someone remind you of who you could be, that's priceless. 24. The legacy of discipline. One day, people will look at your life and they'll see the patterns you built. They won't remember how motivated you were. They'll remember your consistency, the projects you finished, the habits you mastered, the goals you stayed loyal to, long after the excitement faded. That's your legacy, because discipline isn't about control. It's about creation. You creating a life that others can look at and say, that's what it looks like to stay committed. 25. Final words. The discipline within. You started as someone searching for motivation. Now, you've become someone who moves without it. That's discipline, the ability to act with purpose, regardless of emotion. You'll still fail sometimes. You'll still feel lazy, distracted, or lost. But the difference is, you'll keep going. You'll rise earlier, you'll work harder, you'll stay focused longer. Not because you have to, but because you've chosen to. You've built a foundation no one can take from you. Self-command, integrity, discipline. And when life gets chaotic, remember this: you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Build strong ones, because discipline isn't a skill, it's a lifestyle. And once you live it, there's no going back.